All right, today is kind of a different video. This video is actually kind of brought to you by you guys. There are two main questions that I get, which either have to do with what is that mod that you have, or what should I do to my car? So in this video, I'm going to be answering those questions for you, because what we have today here, if you see the focus behind me, is a full guide of what is done to my car. Every inch of my car will be covered, so if you guys want to copy it, or if you guys want some inspiration on what to do to your car, I don't really care about like people copying other people's builds. Like, if you want to copy this and you can, go ahead. I'm just here to provide to you what I've done to my car and maybe give you a few ideas for things that you can do to your car to spice things up a little bit. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the performance stuff first, and then we're going to go ahead and dive into the stuff that that has to do with looks and like changing the appearance of the car. So let's just go ahead and jump in to get started. So like I said, this is my 2015 Ford Focus ST. I've had this car for about a year and a half now, and it is a a turbocharged 4-cylinder. We're gonna start with the engine bay stuff because that stuff's just like the easiest to cover. So number one, we have the intake. This is by far one of my favorite mods because when you have a turbocharged car, you want to hear the turbo. This makes all the cool fluttering noises, all the cool induction sounds. Basically lets everybody know that you have a turbocharged car. It's so much fun when you step on the gas and you hear that sound of like the turbo like sucking in air. If you are looking for horsepower gains, you're not gonna find it with the intake, at least not on the stock turbo, which by the way, I am still on the stock turbo. This is one of the best bang for your buck intakes that you can get. I think it was about $325 or so, and it is a single piece, so the pipe starting from right here goes all the way up and back to the turbo. There's no like couplers splitting it in between, and that was one thing that was super important to me when I got an intake, is that I didn't want it to be like a bunch of different pieces that I had to couple together, because I don't know, it kind of feels cheap. The coating on it is really nice. It's all powder coated, wrinkle black, really nice build quality. Super happy with it. I couldn't ask for a better intake. It also comes with this filter, super nice. It's a Cobb high flow filter. You got all your normal filter up here, and then you got the second opening here that lets in more air right there. And I know I don't run the airbox cover, but I am not worried about a few degrees different with the air intake temperatures. I don't care, and I want the sound. I know you can just get an RS airbox filter like lid or like a replacement for this, but I just don't care enough to spend the money on that, especially when it's like $90 or $100 just when I could take the cover off, because that would be kind of pointless. Next thing, all right, I guess this is going to be kind of hard to understand. I might use some old clips from this, but I also have a Cobb short throw shift plate, which is actually right underneath this intake. Basically what it is it's a little metal plate, and you install it over the factory shifter, and it lets you adjust the percentage of throws, like to make your shifter throws shorter so that you can shift faster. It just makes your shifts so much shorter, and they feel so much more crisp. And I'll show you guys on the inside real quick. It just basically allows you to reduce the amount of throw in between each gear. So from the factory, this would be a lot longer, but from first to second right here, it's a lot shorter. I think I reduced mine to about 30%. I did have it on 40%, but I actually kind of forgot why I reduced it, but I had a good reason, I promise. But yeah, so it just makes your shifts a lot shorter and a lot more crisp and a lot more notchy too. The stock shifter was not bad, but it was definitely not good either, so I would highly recommend messing with this. I do not have an actual short shift kit that is in the transmission, like the actual housing down here. If you don't want to take apart this whole entire area, I would highly recommend just doing a short shift plate like I did, and it's a little cheaper, but absolutely love it. Let's continue with the mods. Next thing and last thing up in the front of the car is my Velocitec. I think this is more for looks, but at the same time, it does kind of help shove cold air up through here and right up into your airbox right there. There is like a little lip thing in there, but it's really far back, and honestly it doesn't do as good of a job if you were trying to shove colder air into your airbox. And you can choose whatever accent color you want the actual end of the snorkel to be, which is super cool. And obviously I chose white because the accents for this car are yellow. Just kidding, it's white. Absolutely love that mod. Not expensive either. I think it's like 160 bucks, and this was actually sent to me from Velocitec, and I do have a video that I made a while back on it, so if you want to check it out, you can. But again, love it. Makes the car look a little cooler in my opinion, and it might help also shove colder air into the airbox. A lot of people say it doesn't do anything, and it might not, but I like it and I have it on my car. So all right, I think we are done with stuff under my hood, so I'm gonna shut this. So for the next mods, we're gonna have to throw the car up on the lift so that I can give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so more for performance mods. Right here, the downpipe. This is a CNT catless downpipe. So the reason for a downpipe is because the stock downpipe is extremely restrictive. So for those of you who don't know what this does, yeah, this is basically a short little pipe that connects to the turbo that allows you to unlock a lot more horsepower. I actually got this downpipe from a friend for 50 bucks because he blew up his car. If you're looking to unlock more horsepower with less restriction and more sound for your car, I would highly recommend it. I don't think I would do a catless if I had to go do that again, also because, you know, we love the environment and it's definitely the cause of all of my drone issues that I have. So I guess maybe if I were to tell you anything, I would suggest to not go catless. I would get a catted downpipe because you can still make decent power and you still get the good sound and the turbo noise. Maybe not as much turbo sound because this is super whistly when you start it up. I know Cobb's downpipe is like $600 or $800 or something ridiculous. I remember I grabbed this one from a friend, like I said, but I'm pretty sure these downpipes are super cheap. I believe this is only like $250 for a downpipe, I think. I don't remember, but it's super cheap. So downpipe, highly recommend it. Next performance mod, one of my favorites, if not, no, yeah, definitely my favorite, is my AWE track exhaust system. I have made plenty of videos in the past about AWE stuff. Love them, they're a great company. The quality of the system is amazing, the sound is amazing. Would highly recommend this product. So, a little bit about it. 3-inch pipe all the way from the cat, or where the cat should be, all the way to the back with the tips. Now, is that loud? Yeah, it's really loud, and sometimes it even makes fire. Super high quality, very thick steel. One resonator so that you don't absolutely destroy your ears. It does help a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I do mean a little bit. And I am thinking about quieting this up. They also offer a touring axle back section for this. So they have two versions of this exhaust. They have one, the track, which this is insanely dirty and I need to clean the tips. And number two, they offer the touring system. And now what that does is that takes out this entire axle back section right here and replaces it with a muffler. And then you have the same tips that come out right here. Debating on switching to that because I do really want the sound without the volume sometimes. However, this is definitely one of the best sounding exhausts for this car, if not the best sounding exhaust for this car. 10 out of 10, would absolutely recommend it, or else I wouldn't have it on my car. Quality is amazing. The price is not even that bad. For this track one, I believe I paid $769 for that. It's beautiful, and they include candy in the package. Why wouldn't you want candy in your package? That sounds weird. I guess while I'm here, I could also show you the suspension. Right up in there, we've got some H&R lowering springs. You can see them a little bit better from the back of the car because it's a little bit lower, not so tucked up and hidden inside of the wheel well up there. Lowering springs are a great mod for you to do if you are on a budget and you really just want the look of being low. And they do add a little bit of sportiness to the way that the car drives, but not as much as you're gonna get from a set of coilovers, obviously. Would still definitely recommend them. The ride is honestly not even that bad. I think these are dropped an inch and a half in the front and an inch and a quarter, or something weird in the rear. It's like 1.4 inches in the rear, 1.5 in the front, or something like that. The car sits fantastic. I love the ride. It's not too bumpy and it's still stiff enough for me to know that I have aftermarket suspension, and they are not expensive. Only thing is that I feel like they are a little bit of a hassle to install. It definitely is going to take you 1 to 2 people to help you install these, and it's not going to take you a short amount of time either. This took us kind of a long time. You definitely need a friend to help you out. But if you want your car to look lower and to look better and to drive maybe even a little bit better, I would highly recommend picking up some lowering springs. Or if you want more of a track feel and you do a little bit more aggressive driving, then I would go ahead and pick up a set of coilovers. And lastly, we've got one more performance modification to go over, so let me just lower down the car so I can get back inside of it. We have this. This is a Cobb access port. I'm gonna turn the car on so you guys can understand exactly what this does. So basically, for those of you who don't know what this is, the Cobb access port is a tuner. Basically, it monitors your car and lets you flash tunes to your car in order for you to gain like a lot more horsepower and increase your overall performance. So it's just this little flashing device. It's got a really cool little magnetic back that it sits in, and you can customize this screen to monitor things like on mine, I've got misfire count, boost pressure, coolant temperature, AFR, charge air temp. So charge air temp's like your intake temperature. Temperatures are super important, and I really enjoy monitoring those because you always want to keep an eye on your temperatures. You don't want to be overheating anything or overstressing any components of your car. I do not have oil temp on here, which I think you actually can do because the Focus STs actually come stock with an oil temperature gauge right there. So you've got oil temp right there, you've got boost right there, and then you've got oil pressure over there. So I don't have pressure or temperature for oil, but I do have all these other pressure and temperature things right here. So yeah, that's all I have for performance modifications. I think I covered everything. Oh, blow off valve. I totally forgot about that. Basically what that does is whenever your turbo builds up pressure, instead of it going back in through the intake and through the turbo, or not through the intake, instead of it going back through the turbo and creating back pressure, which is where you get that fluttery noise, it just lets it out and vents it to atmosphere. You can hear it right here. So with all that, let's move on to the non-performance stuff and go on to more of the appearance modifications, which are actually my favorite modifications. Also, I did forget to mention one thing. It's really not that much of a performance thing, but I do have ceramic brakes from R1 Concepts. They do squeak a little bit because they're ceramic, but when they heat up, they're just fine. On to the appearance mods. So appearance mod number 1, yellow fog lights. To me, it's just like when you see a car driving down the road with yellow fog lights, you always assume like, oh, okay, what kind of car is this? And 9 times out of 10, it's a modified car. It's just kind of an eye grabber thing. And at night, it looks really, really cool when you turn them on and you're driving down the street, especially because I have the LED strips right there. So when that's like going down the street at night, it looks so awesome. So yellow fogs, really cool. Next modification, which is also a light related thing, is my sequential mirror lights right here. Whenever you turn the turn signals on, they will strobe, and when you unlock or lock your car, they strobe. It's super, super cool. LEDs on cars always look good, and this is super awesome because it also is black, so it completely blends in with the mirror, and you might not even know that there's a turn signal up there until you hit the button or until you turn on your turn signal. That has to be one of my favorite mods, besides like wheels and stuff. So next, we've got the black roof wrap. I personally love when people wrap the roof black. And usually like the more luxury high-end cars have the black accented roof. Instead of just the whole entire car being the same color, it just kind of breaks things up a little bit and makes it look really unique. And I believe we got this wrap from Vivid. I forgot exactly what company makes this wrap, but yeah, super, super awesome. Was a relatively easy thing to do. I would highly recommend doing it to your car if you want to add a bit of a different look. Next mod that we have here would be the tint. This is 20% tint. I had this done a little while ago, and I absolutely love it because it just makes the car on the inside so much darker. Yeah, it just darkens everything up a little bit. You might not be able to see it that well, and it makes the car just look a lot more complete and less like a fishbowl. So I absolutely love the tint. Would highly recommend doing it, also because it kind of keeps your car, if you get the ceramic tint, it keeps your car cooler in the summertime, and helps prevent a lot of damage, like especially if you do your windshield on like your leather seats or your dashboard or whatever. So tint, super beneficial if you're going to do any mod and you don't want to dive into like suspension or something and you want your car to look drastically different. Highly would recommend getting some tint. All right, next would be this carbon fiber RS style spoiler. Super aggressive. I love how the entire middle piece is carbon. It just makes the car look so much cooler. And the view from the back is a lot more aggressive than it would be with the normal ST wing. I did have a normal ST wing with wing risers on it, but I was looking for something that would shake up the look a little bit. And also this was a really fun project that Nate and I did, and we do have videos on this too. But this RS wing was super fun to do. It was definitely a challenge because we actually painted this and bondoed out the RS that used to be right there, and it came out amazing. So I love this wing. It makes the car look completely different, and you know, everybody loves carbon fiber, so had to put that on there. Awesome, would definitely recommend it. I used to not be a really big fan of putting RS stuff on your ST. Then I was like, you know what, I don't really care, and there's carbon fiber on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I do not regret it one bit. Moving on to definitely my favorite modification throughout the entire car, because it took me forever to choose and they look freaking awesome, are the wheels. These are the ESR SR07s in gloss white. I love this gloss white. They have this just candy finish to them, and I went ahead and threw on titanium lug nuts and a titanium valve stem. These are super awesome wheels. The build quality is great and the look is amazing. Also, the fitment is great too. And keep in mind, I am lowered an 1.5 inches. I don't think there is another modification that would make a car look drastically different like wheels would, which is why this is my favorite modification of the entire car. The specs on these wheels are 18 by 8.5. The offset is a +30, and they are wrapped in the Toyo Extenta HPs. They are styled after the Volk TE37s, which are my dream wheel. And ESR is a really great company too. They make a lot more wheels than just like your rep stuff. They offer a lot of forged wheels and really high-end stuff, and it does get a little bit expensive. These were the wheels that I wanted to put on this car for a really long time. So I'm super happy I have them on there. They make your car look like a completely different car. So absolutely love that. All right, guys, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I know it was a little bit different, but I've been getting so many questions on Instagram and in the comments about what I have done to the car, like what all is done to the car and what to do to your car. So I thought I would just answer you guys in a quick video. So if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing because it really helps out my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.